Hey everyone, Ariel Adams here with aBlogtoWatch. Please subscribe to our videos on YouTube and like this video if you find it useful. This is a review of the Ancon Magnus. Ancon is a newer brand. The people that founded it are out of Asia, I think in like Hong Kong, maybe Singapore. I think it's Hong Kong, and they're distributed around the world. And you know, I think as like a new brand, this is probably going to be one of your coolest watches. Under $1,000, probably for 2013, maybe 2014. You know, with a new brand like this, it gets so hot right away. It's hard to say what's going to happen next few years. Are they going to keep the momentum going? Or are they just going to not really do anything? I don't know. But I know that their collection is pretty strong, and there's a couple interesting things that they do. So one thing that they really heavily emphasize is a fashionable look at reintroducing retro design from some older watches. So this watch, aficionados will know that this dial is based on the look of an original Rolex Milgauss. And so that's more or less where this dial came from. You have Ancon watches that have California-style dials and a few others. This one happened to speak to me. I've always liked the design of the Milgauss, the original one. And you can see there it has that lightning seconds hand. And what's really funny, and I'm not really sure how I feel about it, but it says, if you look at the text there on the dial, it actually says lightning bolt second hand anti-magnetic watch. Now, of course, the Milgauss was anti-magnetic, so I'm trusting that this one is too. I don't know to what degree, but given that it has a closed case back, I'm sure it's anti-magnetic enough. Now, the case is bronze. It's not normal bronze. It's what's called aluminum bronze. And from my understanding, this isn't better or worse than bronze. This is an industrial version of bronze that has some aluminum in it. I don't know if it makes it lighter. It might make it a little bit more corrosive resistant. But, you know, bronze is a material which is supposed to patina. So over time, the surface will oxidize and it will start to get kind of like little black blotches here and there that makes it look kind of old and vintage, which is cool. And you can see that they matched it with actually a really cool leather strap, which is kind of doing the same thing that sort of gets from dark to light based upon where you bend it. And so what's going to happen after you own this watch for a while, it's going to have this really gorgeous vintage style look to it, which is cool. It's not a small watch. It's 45 millimeters wide, and it is pretty hefty. And you can see it says AL bronze, aluminum bronze there on the side. Inside the watch is a Japanese Miyota 8215 automatic movement. So it's a decent movement. It's not quite as good as their 9015, which is a newer one, but you know, you have basically whatever you'd want. You know, I think it's a 3 hertz versus 4 hertz. Don't quote me on that. The 9015 is 4 hertz, but you have hand winding, automatic winding, time, and the date. It's you know, for this price range, it's totally acceptable. It's a fine movement. And another thing I like is the hands and 4 of those hour markers are polished while everything else kind of is matte. So it adds a little bit of a, I don't want to say bling, but a nice little look. Detailing is great. And so, for example, you can see there that the date disc is black. And even on a lot of watches priced more than this, you'd have like the date disc be white because they just didn't want to go out and get the black one. So that's a nice little touch there that I think adds to the overall package. You know, you have there, of course, the Ancon logo there on the crown. Everything, you know, screw down crown. Everything fits together nicely. And I think that, you know, they did a really good job for the price. I've seen a lot of watches in this price range that have been just awful. But this one is one that I proudly wear, and I think it's very, very cool. Of course, you have a rotating diver-style bezel there, which clicks with satisfaction. You hear it? I love it. I love the sound. I love the sound of these. I like taking different types of dive style watches or divers watches and turning that bezel just to see what they sound like. It's like this compulsion. One thing which is a little bit of an issue is, at least maybe it's on just my watch, but this loop right here for the strap for some reason is like a little bit bigger than it needs to be, and so depending on how tightly you wear it, it can kind of come off a little bit because it's a little bit big. Not that big of a deal, really not an issue. Just something that I don't know why it's a little bit wider there. That could have just been like a manufacturing defect with this particular one. I'm sure if I complained, they would have fixed it out. Panerai style buckle there. Of course, that makes sense given the size of the watch in the strap. Overall, I really enjoy the Ancon Magnus. It comes in a few different versions. There's a black case version. I don't think all of them come in bronze. I think there's some steel ones as well. Different dial colors. There's a green one as well. This is, I believe, the black one. There's also a brown one. It's overall fun. You don't have to think too much about it because it's not wildly expensive. And the design is something which I think goes with a lot. So it is, of course, more fashionable than it is functional, but I think it's cool and I like it. So the price, that's a good question. They say the retail price is $899, but it's closer to about $600 wherever they're selling it online. So I'm going to go and say that the price is not $900. It's somewhere between $600 and $700. So that's what you can expect to pay for this. And yeah, so you can see the full review on aBlogtoWatch soon. Thanks.